4 astronauts, one tiny capsule, racing toward the moon, but one invisible storm from the sun could erase them forever. This is Artemis sect, and the ghosts of Apollo are watching. It hits you right in the chest, doesn't it? That quiet moment when you realize we're standing on the edge of history again. March 2026. Right now, outside the Vehicle Assembly Building at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, engineers are making final checks. The massive Space Launch System rocket, the most powerful machine humans have ever built, is about to roll out to the pad, possibly today, maybe tomorrow. And its target launch date? April West, as early as 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. This isn't just another mission. This is Artemis II. 4 human beings sealed inside the Orion capsule, about to do what no one has done in 53 years. Leave low Earth orbit, swing around the moon, and push deeper into space than any of us alive today have ever gone. 10 days of pure unknown. And somewhere in the back of every mind at NASA, the ghosts of Apollo are whispering the same question we're all thinking. Will this change everything, or end in tragedy? Let's go back for a second. July 1969. Neil Armstrong steps onto the lunar dust and the whole world holds its breath. Apollo gave us heroes, miracles, and proof that we could reach the stars. But those triumphs came soaked in blood and close calls. Apollo 1, 3 brave men, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, lost in a cabin fire during a simple ground test. Their last words still echoed through every control room. "We've got a fire in the cockpit." Then Apollo 13. "Houston, we have a problem." An oxygen tank explodes 200,000 miles from home. Jim Lovell and his crew turned their crippled spacecraft into a lifeboat, rationing power, fighting freezing temperatures, and praying they'd see Earth again. They made it back, barely. Luck, ingenuity, and sheer human will. Those ghosts aren't just old stories, they're warnings carved into NASA's soul. Because Artemis II is the first crewed deep space flight since 1972. It's a test flight. And tests have a way of reminding us how fragile we really are. But here's the part that makes your throat tighten. This crew isn't 4 faceless astronauts in white suits. They're 4 real people with families, fears, and reasons that make you feel every mile they travel. Meet Commander Reed Wiseman, Navy test pilot, second-time space flyer. But the man behind the helmet, a single father raising 2 young daughters alone after losing his wife in 2020. Reed has said it out loud in interviews. It would be a lot easier to just sit on the couch and watch football. Instead, he's leaving those 2 girls behind for 10 days that could become forever. He's packing handwritten letters from them into Orion. Tiny notes that say, "Come home, Dad." Can you imagine kissing your children goodbye, knowing the next time you see them might be through a screen? Or never? That's the human weight Reed carries every single second of training. His pilot is Victor Glover, the first person of color ever to fly this far into space. A husband, a father of 4, a man of deep faith. Victor's already flown to the International Space Station, but this is different. This is the moon. He's carrying a small Bible and his daughter's wedding rings, family heirlooms he wants to touch when the Earth looks like a pale blue dot in the distance. "Don't screw it up," he jokes in briefings, but you hear the quiet seriousness underneath. For every kid who looks like him and dreams of stars, Victor is proving the sky has no color barrier. Yet, in the back of his mind, he knows one wrong solar storm could turn this historic first into the last. Then there's mission specialist Christina Koch, the first woman to go this deep. She already holds the record for the longest single spaceflight by any woman. 328 days on the ISS. Christina grew up on a farm in Michigan, worked in Antarctica, and brings that quiet, unbreakable strength. She's packing a small pin from her family and a note that simply says, "Remember why we do this." For her, this mission isn't about records. It's about showing every little girl that the stars belong to them too. But picture her floating in that capsule, the first woman beyond the Van Allen belts, knowing radiation and isolation don't care about firsts, and rounding out the crew. Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen, the first Canadian to ever fly to the moon. Royal Canadian Air Force fighter pilot. He's leaving his family back home carrying a small Canadian flag and a pendant from his kids. "This one's for all of us on Earth," he says. But for Jeremy, it's personal. The first time a Canadian will see our planet from lunar distance and feel that overwhelming smallness. These four, Wiseman, Glover, Koch, Hansen, named their capsule Integrity. Not power, not speed, integrity. Because in the silence of space, that's all you have left. Now let's talk about the journey itself. The part that keeps mission controllers awake at night. Orion blasts off from the same launch pad 39B that sent Apollo to the moon. Within minutes, it separates and begins its long arc. 10 days total. It will swing around the moon at roughly 4,600 miles above the surface. No landing, just a flyby that tests everything. But that flyby takes them beyond Earth's protective magnetic field for the first time in over half a century. And that's when the invisible killers wake up. Radiation. Not the dramatic green glow of movies. Real, silent, relentless. Galactic cosmic rays. And right now, in 2026, the sun is in its maximum phase, spitting out solar particle events that can release more energy than 1 billion hydrogen bombs. If a big one hits while the crew is in transit, radiation levels inside Orion could spike dangerously. NASA has monitors, special shielding, and even the Perseverance rover on Mars watching the sun's far side for early warnings. But there's no perfect shield. Too much exposure raises cancer risks for life. It can fog thinking, weaken the body, or worse. The crew knows the numbers. They've trained for it. But training doesn't prepare your heart for the moment you realize help is 240,000 miles away. And then comes the blackout, the most haunting part of all. When Orion slips behind the far side of the moon, radio contact with Earth cuts off completely. Up to 45 minutes of total silence. No mission control, no family voices, no one. If something fails, a leak, a system glitch, a medical emergency, they're on their own in the void. Imagine that. Floating in a metal box the size of a small car, staring at the moon's hidden face that no human has ever seen live, while Earth becomes a tiny, fragile speck. Beautiful? Yes. Terrifying? Absolutely. Yet this is exactly why Artemis II matters so much. Success doesn't just bring us back to the moon. It opens the door to everything that comes next. Permanent lunar bases, mining water ice for fuel, a stepping stone to Mars, the first woman and first person of color walking on another world. International partnerships that prove we can work together instead of fighting. This mission tests the heat shield that will one day carry humans to the surface. It proves Orion can keep people alive in deep space. It tells our children that the last horizon isn't the end. It's the beginning. But here's the raw truth we can't look away from. One solar storm at the wrong time. One system failure during blackout. One decision made under radiation fog. And the ghosts of Apollo could claim new names. Reed's daughters might never hear their father's voice again. Victor's rings might become relics instead of heirlooms. Christina's pin and Jeremy's flag could end up in a museum instead of a triumph. That possibility is real. NASA admits it. This is a test flight, and tests carry risk. So why do they go? Why do any of us push these boundaries? Because that's what humans do. We stare into the dark and step forward anyway. Reed leaves his couch and his daughters because some dreams are bigger than comfort. Victor carries faith and family because representation matters more than fear. Christina and Jeremy fly because the next generation needs to see that courage is real. The last horizon isn't just the moon. It's the edge of what we believe we can survive. Artemis II is our chance to prove we learn from Apollo's ghosts, that we can honor the past, protect the present, and gift the future. As the rocket rolls out today and April 1st approaches, keep your eyes on the sky, for ordinary people with extraordinary hearts are about to remind us why we look up. They might return as heroes who changed everything, or they might become part of the story we tell our grandchildren about the day humanity almost reached too far. Either way, they went, and that alone is enough to make your heart beat a little faster.